Good morning and a very warm welcome to all of the participants in today's webinar from Digité, Achieving Agile Development at Scale, Enabling Enterprise-Wide Agility through Integration and Automation. Thank you to attendees today who are joining in within India, the Middle East, as well as Australia. A very warm welcome to all of you. Let's go ahead and get started. And I'm going to start with a few housekeeping notes. First of all, if you have any questions, please use the Q&A box that you will see on the bottom right of your screen at any time during the webinar, and we will take up questions towards the end of the webinar. Secondly, webinar will be recorded, and a link to the recording will be shared with you in a follow-up email. Similarly, a copy of the webinar slides will be provided after the webinar, so you don't need to make any feverish notes. Hopefully you'll have an enjoyable session here, and you'll get a chance to look at the slides and as well as the recording after the webinar as well. So with that, let me go ahead and introduce the agenda. We start with a short presentation on just revisiting what Agile is all about and looking at the challenges of Agile in the enterprise. After that, we will introduce SwiftSync, the product from Digité, for scaling Agile in the enterprise. And finally, we'll wind up with a Q&A session. Let me introduce today's speaker. Bill Kriegbaum is the VP of Marketing for OpSub, who's the maker of the integration technology that SwiftSync uses. Bill is an experienced technology professional with proven results in delivering hardware and software solutions to a variety of industries, including logistics, supply chain, retail, consumer and software developers, and integrators. Bill has over 15 years of product management, business development, and marketing experience, and has worked at Mindjet, Oracle, Microsoft, and DataLogic. Bill holds a degree in English literature from UC Santa Barbara and has written over 10 books and has a number of patents pending. Bill, welcome. And my name is Mahesh Singh. I'm a Senior Vice President of Product at Digité. I've spent over 20 years in the software industry in managing distributed teams, doing all kinds of application and software development. And I'll be your host today, and I will also provide you a quick demo of the SwiftSync product after Bill is finished with his session. So with that, Bill, let me go ahead and transfer control to you, and a very warm welcome to you on this webinar.
Thanks, Mahesh. We're going to talk a little bit about achieving agile development at scale. And Mahesh, if we can move on to the next slide. And before we get started, what we want to do is just take a brief moment to review some of the core tenets of agile development, and that is that it really focuses on the individual developing working software. It focuses on collaboration, and it also focuses on responding to change that will naturally occur during the development of a piece of software. And if we dive into a little more detail with the next slide, we'll see that there are 12 core principles to support the Agile Manifesto, but there's just a few key things that we want to take a look at, and that is that they want to really focus on continuous delivery and really making change part of our core strength and delivering software often, and that business people and developers have to work closely together, and that they need the information so that they can make informed decisions. And they also want to really make sure that they have a sustainable process to continuously deliver that software. And so if we take a look at these 12 principles, it really focuses on delivery of working software, the individual, and sharing of information in a very collaborative fashion. Let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. And obviously, there are some great benefits of this approach, and that is, revenue. If you're producing higher quality products that are delivered faster, that satisfy more customer requirements, naturally, revenue should follow. Secondly, is the ability to deliver software faster and result in a faster time to market. And then the third benefit is to really create that, environment, that culture of transparency and visibility, so that every person of the development team has the information they need to be empowered to make the right decision. Next slide, please. But in practice, Agile development is really effective for team sizes of between 5 and 9 members. And there's obvious exceptions to this rule, but there's been a lot of study done around this as 5 to 9 members being the really optimal team size for Agile development. And they really focus on the daily meeting. They really focus on face-to-face interaction to communicate. And for small teams, this makes a great deal of sense. Yet for development at scale, consider a development team of 100 or 1,000 or 2,000 people, this is simply not practical because there's going to be a tremendous amount of communication friction, and because of that friction, there's going to be a tremendous amount of information that is kept in silos, and consequently, individual users will not have the information they need to make decisions that are informed. And the result, and this is a result of the complexity of communication and lack of visibility. So next slide, please. And if you look at the left side of the spectrum, for smaller teams, the number of interfaces, the communication paths are quite manageable. So for a team size of 3, there are 3 interfaces. For a team size of 4, there are 6 interfaces. For a team size of 5, there's 10 interfaces. And you can see that it begins to grow quite rapidly. And in fact, this is an exponential growth curve. So that if we go to the next slide, we can even illustrate this more succinctly. So at 6 users, you can see that the number of interfaces grows dramatically as the team size grows. And at nearly 100 people, there's almost 5,000 communication paths. Well, clearly, 100 people is not that large of a team, and 5,000 communication interfaces is simply too many to be naturally handled. In addition to the complexity of the challenges, because it's based off of this face-to-face communication, there's an oral tradition. And if you begin by communicating a requirement or a change or a need, the more people you have to communicate it to, the more likely that that message will be lost. The fidelity of the communication decreases with each communication interface. Well, not only is the quality of information reduced, it's also very unlikely that your information is being captured systematically, which is extremely important for regulated companies that need to manage and monitor and record every change, every requirement, every code update, every defect that's fixed, and make sure that's completely traceable all the way through the development process back to the original requirement. In an oral tradition, this is very difficult to do. Well, in addition to the communication friction problems, we also have visibility challenges. As your development team grows, you will likely begin to acquire software solutions to support the individual functions. It might be a defect tracking solution, a task management solution for development, requirements management for business analysts, a support desk for the support team. Yet, while each of these 4 systems will support the individual functions, they're not integrated to enable quality to automatically communicate with development, nor development to communicate with business analysts. It still is forcing manual methods of communication between these different functions, even though they might be automated within their own individual silo. And so not only are the individual users not able to be informed of what their peers in different groups are doing, it's also difficult to roll up the information to a management level so that, as a manager or an executive, I can monitor my overall development across all of my functions, across all of my projects, so that I can make, decisions based off of complete visibility. Next slide, please. And so the obvious question then is, how can Agile development be scaled? How do we go from that team size of 5 to 9 to 100, 1,000, or 2,000? And really the approach is to really go through this curve that Scott Ambler and Mark Lyons at IBM, formerly of IBM, put together called the Agile Scaling model to get towards agility at scale. And you'll see that agility at scale teams are large, or geographically distributed. They are subject to regulatory compliance. They have technical complexity, organizational complexity. And, next slide, please. If we look at the characteristics of successful organizations, they are ones that are systematic, that they have business processes that are designed to inform the individual users and empower them to make the decisions. And so what we really need to do is we need to transition from this oral tradition of core Agile development towards a method of integrated communication of Agile at scale. So let's take a look at what that really means. We need to connect each of the ALM systems, whether it's defect management, task management, support desk, requirements management. We need to connect them so that information is synchronized between them automatically. And this will result in each team member being able to use their own system to communicate with all the other team members. So often, for example, companies will purchase a defect management solution for the QA team, but the QA team will use that solution to manage the defects, but they have to go into a secondary system to create the defects for the engineers. Well, that's a manual method of synchronization that's error-prone and very costly to the company. By being able to use their own native systems, they're working in their natural environment, seamlessly communicating with their peers in the other groups, and that really will result in a natural ability to scale. Secondly, workflows and business rules need to be implemented to support the processes and governance in a very transparent manner. And proper integration works in the background and allows users to focus on their job, not on the synchronization method. And the guaranteed traceability of integration really helps a company support their compliance policies to make sure that they're always compliant with regulations that they're subject to, which limits their exposure to risks of penalties or fees. And then finally, this integration between the ALM systems will provide that enterprise-wide visibility so that individual users, management, and executives have the information they need to make the right decisions. Next slide, please. So some of the goals for achieving Agile at scale is to remove the communication friction and then to provide the context through greater visibility to make better decisions. And ALM system integration can solve these challenges by addressing communication, visibility, and compliance. So without system connectivity, we looked at the complexity of communication, and it's got this wonderful equation, n squared minus n over 2 is the number of communication paths for manual or the oral tradition without systematic connectivity. With systematic connectivity, however, the communication paths are n. The same number of users will have one method of communication, and that is through their native business system. So that dramatically removes the complexity of communication. Next slide, please. And so here's an example, and in fact, later during the webinar, Mahesh will actually be demonstrating this. But in this particular scenario, we have Digité connected with HP ALM Subversion and Redmine. And each of the users are using their preferred native system, whether using Digité, Redmine, ALM, or Subversion. They're using their individual system, and because of the integration in the middle, they are immediately aware of the other changes and have that context with which to make proper decisions without having to have emails, text messages, manual synchronization with text files, CSV files, or spreadsheets, or the daily stand-up meeting. This becomes a very efficient, immediate, transparent method of communication. Next slide. And with respect to compliance, because it is systematically integrated, every communication that occurs, regardless of which system it's performed in, is automatically captured, and a complete audit trail and traceability record is captured so that a company is always ready for an audit that is accurate and timely. Next slide, please. And with respect to visibility, each individual user can use their preferred system, but because those systems are then integrated with each other through OpsHub and SwiftSync from Digité, those barriers are removed that were originally created by operating in individual silos. But because they're integrated, all the users are interconnected with each other through their native business system, and they can view in and across these business systems at the executive level. And so you really are able to provide the individual team member with visibility as well as the management and executive teams. So let's revisit some of the elements of the Agile Manifesto, yet at scale. So if we come back to the beginning, we'd know that there was a focus on individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Well, with integration provided by SwiftSync and OpsHub, individuals are informed and are able to act through their preferred tools, and that communication is streamlined and easy, which really relieves the individual of the burden of communication. And it puts the power and the information in the hands of the individual so that they can do their work to the best of their abilities. With respect to working software, all the members are aligned with a common visibility, and they all have the same context, and they're able to make decisions based on what is currently happening amongst their team. And it does, in fact, reduce the need for formal documentation, and again, puts the focus on the individual team member to make the right decision. From a customer collaboration perspective, good team communication and collaboration will naturally result in better communication and collaboration with customers. And as they're receiving more feedback from the customers, because they're able to move more collaboratively, because they're able to communicate the changes immediately to all team members who need it, they're able to respond faster to the customer feedback. And then finally, building on top of that, because all the systems are interconnected, as soon as a change is made, it's instantly communicated to all those team members that need that information. And having that information is what empowers people to respond to change. Next slide. So with that, I would like to thank each of you and Mahesh and Digité for allowing OpsHub to present today. We're excited about our partnership with Digité. And now we get on to the fun part and actually see it in action. Mahesh?
Hey, thanks, Bill. Thanks again for a great presentation, which really brings out the heart of what is agile development all about at the enterprise level, which is visibility, communication, and of course compliance when it comes to large organizations trying to ensure that that due process is being followed in terms of delivering critical organizational technology assets that enable them to run their businesses. So with that, let me go ahead and provide you a little more detailed look at Digité and SwiftSync. So a quick introduction to Digité ALM. Digité ALM really is a pretty unique combination of capabilities that cover three key areas that most organizations work with, and that Bill touched upon in his presentation as well. So one is related to process governance. What is sort of the minimum process that you need to have in order to be able to have all of the team members talk a language that is understood by not only the technology team members, but also the business users and so forth. The second is just ongoing management of releases, iterations, projects, portfolios, whatever be your sort of mechanism for running your development activity and running a development organization, whether it's project management or portfolio, you can use that using the project portfolio capabilities. And of course, the last one is the application development and maintenance capability, which is around the software development lifecycle, which ensures that you have sort of end-to-end visibility for the entire development lifecycle. Just to take a little bit of a deep dive into the capability in each of those buckets, Digité ALM provides a tremendous amount of capability in each of those buckets. That is not to say that a customer that's adopting Digité ALM needs to use all of them, but a lot of our customers are medium and large companies that have benefited from implementing all three in a phased manner or in a big bang manner, and ensuring that all of their employees and all of their users are able to keep in sync as far as their software development activity is concerned. The other product that we have is Swift-Kanban, which is our leading Kanban-based lean project management product. As you can see from here, a very visual, very intuitive tool for managing a lean and agile projects using the Kanban tool, and all of these products are integrated using the SwiftSync capability, so that you have the ability to run projects with a variety of methods, whether you use traditional methods or agile or lean methods. You're able to implement them using our tools and run your project successfully. Overall, the functional sort of architecture of the products that we provide include the visualization capability using Kanban boards and a variety of dashboards, the full lifecycle support through project management, software development lifecycle, and of course ITSM support as well. So right from the time your application or your product concept starts from a new idea, from a new opportunity that you have, it goes on to then get developed or implemented using either fresh development, custom development, or implementation of a third-party tool. And then it's ongoing support in your organization's business environment, where you're looking at changes to the application based on your business requests, based on customer requests, and all of that is supported through the capability that Digité provides. And underlying all of that is a SwiftSync integration bus and the ecosystem that comes with it, so that any tool that you have within your organization that supports that is being used for software engineering can typically be integrated into this ecosystem. So overall, if you look at it, it's a sort of fully integrated global project delivery capability, which has got a variety of strong reasons going for it, why our customers have chosen to invest in Digité, whether it is its web-based access or its real-time visibility or audit and traceability, just a variety of reasons. So with that high-level introduction to Digité, let me quickly talk a bit more about SwiftSync, which is our integration solution that ensures that all of the different tools that you have in your organization are able to talk to each other, and users that use these systems are able to communicate with each other while still continuing to use their own tools. So first of all, it ensures that there is a complete work item synchronization. So irrespective of the kind of ALM tool that you have, whether it is HP or Microsoft or TFS or IBM, just a variety of tools, both proprietary as well as third-party, proprietary as well as open source tools. Those are supported by SwiftSync, and you can synchronize these work items across these tools. The second thing that it does is it's not just a simple synchronization of these work items. It is also rich capability in terms of rules enforcement, conflict management, and cross-system traceability. So you are able to define your rules based on business rules, based on which you want to be able to synchronize these tools one with the other. You want to make sure that if there is a conflict, either in terms of incorrect data being synchronized or in terms of duplication of data, that all of those conflicts are managed effectively and successfully, and if there are any errors made, that you can back out of those errors and ensure that the systems are in sync with each other. And finally, once you have all of these synchronizations in place, you want to be able to achieve sort of the utopian, sometimes what appears to be utopian dream of having cross-system traceability or end-to-end traceability that ensures that you have complete visibility across your development lifecycle. So the SwiftSync integration solution really supports a variety of tools, and here just a smattering of some of the tools that we support here. All of the full list of the tools that are supported by Digité and SwiftSync are available on our website, and we can share a complete list with you separately. So with that, let me introduce the sort of demo that I'm going to show you, which is through a pre-recorded video that will give you a quick look at what the demo does. And so really it is an effort to show the effective collaboration between the development team, the functional team, the testing team, and so forth, and to provide end-to-end visibility across the development lifecycle. For the purposes of this demo, we are using four different software: HP Quality Center for test management and defect tracking, Digité as the overall ALM umbrella layer to provide you overall visibility, Redmine for issues and action item tracking, and Subversion for your software code management. So to sort of look at it more specifically, we're looking at these four software and the functional teams that are using these tools what they do with each of these tools and how the data gets synchronized across these different tools. And as I said earlier, this is simply a demo scenario that we've taken very simply. You can of course substitute these with any of the tools that you have internally, which are supported by SwiftSync. So let me go ahead and switch over to the video. Just give me just 1 second here. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and start this off. And as I talked about it earlier, we're going to show you a demo where Digité is the ALM solution, and the rest of the software is for each function that is being that is in the organization that is using the tool accordingly. So in this case, the test team or a test team member is creating a test case here and entering the typical data that you might expect to see as part of a test case in the HP ALM software. You define the test case name, creation date, description of what the tester is supposed to do as part of the test, and then you go ahead and save that. And as these changes, as the test case is saved, it automatically gets synchronized to Digité. And so in Digité's test script module, in the test management module, you'll see that the test case comes in here. And you can see all of the details that were set up in HP ALM also synchronized to the test case in Digité. So now let's the test is run, and you find that a defect needs to be filed against that. So the tester would now create a link defect, standard functionality of HP ALM if you're used to using that, and they go ahead and enter typical defect data, a summary of what the defect is, some additional data regarding the defect. So due date, for example, by when does the defect need to be fixed, the severity of the defect, other data that you might typically enter, for example, the overall status of the defect, priority, how soon it needs to be fixed, and you go ahead and save that. So now you have a defect that has been saved against the test case that failed, and SwiftSync automatically again synchronizes that data with all of the software, including with Digité. And so in Digité's defect management module, you can see the defect, and you can see all of the information that is entered here in HP ALM replicated here. Not only does it show you the data that is entered against the defect, it also shows you the traceability between the defect and the test case. So you can see under the traceability link of the defect that the linked test case is also there. Now we're using Redmine here for standard work management issues and defect issues and work management or action item tracking. So here, a developer gets input that they need to work on defect number 19, and so they go ahead and make some updates to this task that has been given to them. For the sake of this demo, they go ahead and make a change into the status of that particular work item. Go ahead and save that, and as you save it, again, SwiftSync ensures that gets synchronized across different tools. So in this case, in Digité's defect management module, you will see that the defect has got updated, and the workflow status has been set to a signer, as that is done in Redmine. So now the developer has the task given to them, and they will go ahead and within their IDE, they will go ahead and check out code from SVN, which is the code management tool. They make changes to the code as needed to fix the defect, and once they're done with it, they go ahead and check that defect in. And just to show the conflict management and error checking that SwiftSync does, we're going to go ahead and save that in against the wrong defect ID, and as you can see here, it's a failure scenario. My apologies for the spelling problems here, typos there. But as you can see here, as soon as we try to check that commit code here, SwiftSync checks and points out the error and alerts the user against that, and they can go ahead and fix that and come in with the right defect ID, and this time the commit goes through successfully, as you will see here in a moment. So as you can see, that the software is the SwiftSync capability is ensuring that across tools as you're working, the errors are checked and it ensures that the right data is being synced across all of the tools that are being used. So as you can see here now, against the defect, we have a special segment created here for code check-in, and you can not only see defect details but also the code that is checked into Subversion. You can see all of the data around that, file path, the actual file name that is modified, the file version that is saved, and other details regarding the code that is checked in here. So within a single interface of the digital application, you can get information about the test case, the defect, and the work that is done against that on the code that is there. And now if I go back to Redmine, because that's where I'm managing my work as a developer, and I go ahead and make changes there, just again to make for the purposes of this demo, I go ahead and make changes to the status update and go ahead and save that. That same status gets updated in Digité as well. So somebody like a project manager who's looking at overall work within an ALM a tool like Digité will be able to get all of their updates through that single interface. As you can see here, all of that update, including the status update, workflow status update, has come back to Digité. So that is just a very quick and a short demo to give you an idea of the fact that as each team member works in their own tool of choice. So the developers continue to work with their IDE and their code management tool, or Redmine if they're using that for tracking their work. The tester works with an HP ALM test management capability. So your team members continue to work in the tools that they want to use, but the users at a higher level, whether it's a project manager or an architect or a senior level management member, they can get to see the overall update of the project as to what is going on through the digital layer. And at the individual tool level, you get to see the changes that are made, whether you are a user within HP ALM or whether you are a user within Redmine. You get to see all of the updates because of the seamless integration or the seamless synchronization that SwiftSync does. Besides the simple act of synchronizing data and making sure that there are no errors that are being made, the promise of ALM is to give you higher level benefits that we enable through the SwiftSync capability. So irrespective of what tools you have here, and you don't need to use these tools, you don't need to use Digité, but if you use SwiftSync across the tools that you have within your organization, you not only get this synchronization capability that we just showed you, but you also get a variety of other benefits that you might get that you might expect to see from an overall ALM solution. So in this case, first of all, it gives you end-to-end traceability. Whether you use Digité ALM or whether you use SwiftSync along with your other existing tools, you are able to therefore get end-to-end traceability across different levels of traceability. Digité itself provides you a configurable traceability map feature that lets you do up to 4 levels of traceability. And as you can see here on the top left of the screen, there are multiple traceability maps that are set up here, and we're just showing you one of those that shows a traceability from release to iteration to user requirement, and you might go on to defect or change requests, etc. You can configure these traceability views so that you can view traceability based on the rules that you want to follow as part of your overall traceability definition. And you might do positive traceability checks to see that things that need to be present are available, or you might do negative traceability to see things that are missing in your overall traceability map. Which are those items that are missing? You can get to see both of them. Besides traceability, obviously one of the key things that you want to be able to see is really the metrics and the analytics that are getting generated as your teams work on developing software, maintaining software, and so forth. So in the case of Digité, we have a rich dashboarding capability that provides you a variety of metrics at individual work item levels. You can get defect data, you can get quality data, you can get test related data, and as you can see here at the top of this, a variety of different types of information that you can get here. But in addition to individual metrics at an individual work item level, you also get composite project health dashboards that are configurable by you as an end user, where you can define what project health is all about, and you can include in that quality metrics, effort related or cost related metrics, just a variety of metrics that you use in your own environment, and compose a project health metric that then gives you simple traffic light based project health status. And of course, the last thing that we talked about, Bill referred to that as part of the audit and compliance related requirements, is that in the case of Digité, you also get a process compliance perspective. So here's something that we call the ETBX, or the entry task verification and exit report, that gives you for each phase of the project what were the entry criteria, what were the tasks to be performed, what were the verification activities, and what were the exit criteria, and whether these criteria were met or whether they were violated or delayed. And as you can see here, this particular project is a particularly bad example of a project that's delayed and probably not meeting a range of process compliance issues. But those are highlighted here for you so that you can take corrective action based on your requirements for compliance and so forth. So besides the synchronization capability, SwiftSync along with Digité provides you just a range of value that comes from dashboards, from traceability, from process compliance, and a bunch of other capability that Digité provides. So just to take a look again at SwiftSync, here is a quick list of all of the various tools that SwiftSync is integrated with, and we not only have a large number of these third-party tools as well as open source tools that we are integrated with out of the box, but we also provide the ability for you to use SwiftSync for integrating with your own tools that you might have, and we have a strong professional services capability that lets you that works with you to build these integration adapters, and of course we are continuously seeking input from our customers and prospects to see what other tools that might be needed that we need to integrate with, and we work with our customers to continuously expand the list of adapters. So with that, winding up on the SwiftSync capability and the overall ALM capability that Digité provides, just a quick summary of some of the key benefits that we provide. And again, refers back to some of the things that Bill talked about in his presentation around collaboration, around communication, and around end-to-end visibility that you need for effective software development throughout the life cycle of your application. So a quick couple of case studies just to give you a sense of what are the kind of companies that are using SwiftSync, and what are some of the tools that they have used and use SwiftSync to integrate with. So we have an online service directory and marketing company, over $2.6 billion of revenue, and nearly 400 engineers using this ALM environment. The primary tools that they used were HP Quality Center and Track, and the key goals for putting together an integrated ALM solution was to improve the reporting capability that their organization had, and also to improve the overall collaboration across the distributed teams that they had within their organization. And the solution was to implement SwiftSync, and clearly, as you can see, some of the benefits that they've achieved were real-time collaboration between those distributed teams, and as a result of that, improved quality and delivery of their applications. Another example of a utility industry solution provider, $1.6 billion of revenue, 600 engineers, a large company, 5,000 employees. The system that they use, they have Access 360 for the product management and for the business request tracking capability, and then they have Microsoft TFS for the development environment. And the goals here were to really improve on-time delivery, improve global visibility, collaboration, and to reduce unmanaged changes. And they implemented SwiftSync Integration Manager to integrate all of the tools that they had, especially the ability to move requirements from Access 360 to TFS, and to be able to give developers complete visibility of the requirements and the changes to the requirements as they worked upon them. And as they implemented the solution, some of the benefits that they achieved were time to market significantly improved. One of the big things that we hear continuously about implementing ALM solutions, especially integrated across a variety of tools, is the ability for business and technology teams to be able to effectively collaborate. And clearly here was one of such examples where business units got a complete visibility of the work that is being done as part of their overall product and application development environment. I will not bore you with the third one. We will share these slides with you. But with that, let me take a breather here and also allow you to get some question answers. And Bill, if you have any comments as we come to the last part of the webinar, please do jump in here.
Thank you.
All right. So let's take a few questions that have come in here. Let me just. So first of all, again, I think that's a fairly standard question that we get in these webinars. So I see there are 3 different tools against which we have questions. So do we integrate with Rational? Do we integrate with TFS? And do we integrate with Serena? I'm going to go ahead and bring back that slide up that I shared a minute ago. I think we did answer this question. But Bill, perhaps you can talk a little bit more about that as well.
Well, the short answer is yes. We do support all versions of software. Most recently, we actually just added support for Visual Studio Team Foundation Server 2012. In fact, we were one of their launch partners, and we continue to work closely supporting Serena and IBM, as well as products from many other companies like HP and Atlassian.
Absolutely. And as I mentioned earlier, this list of tools will continue to expand as a direct result of feedback we get from our customers, both from a software development perspective, but also peripheral activities, whether it is related to service desk or whether it is related to portfolio management, etc. We're looking at input from our customers to see where we might get further value add in terms of their overall ALM activity. Another question that again I think was answered as part of the webinar was, can I use SwiftSync for integrating tools that we built in-house? And I'm going to go ahead and bring this slide up that I presented. That yes, you certainly can do that. We will continuously seek input from our customers to expand in list of out-of-the-box connectors that we want to provide with SwiftSync. But at the same time, we can use SwiftSync, and our professional services team will work with you to build custom tools that custom integration adapters that with tools that you might have in-house that you're using currently in a developer environment. So yes, the answer to that is that you can use SwiftSync. We will have to work with our professional services organization to be able to do that. Interesting third question. So Bill, again, feel free to jump in as well. So ALM for us really needs to include the business users as well. How can we do that using the tools that you presented? So let me take a quick stab at that. First of all, that a majority of our customers are technology organizations, whether they are IT services companies or they're corporate IT or ISVs. And in most cases, we've seen them use the software to facilitate collaboration between customer and the technology team. Whether it is an external customer or an internal business user department, internal product management function, and engineering and service provider service teams, service delivery teams. It is typically a collaboration that is one of the first sort of benefits that our customers have realized using the tools that we provided. And as I think Bill, you mentioned in your presentation as well, one of the key goals of ALM and one of the key goals of sort of facilitating Agile in enterprise is to be able to provide that collaboration between business and IT, between business and technology teams for overall agility of the enterprise.
Absolutely.
Where is the biggest value of ALM? Bill, you want to take a stab at that?
That's a huge question.
Huge question, right?
I think answering from my perspective of formerly being a director of products for software companies, ALM solutions, really brings that systematic control to the development process. For example, it's hard to imagine today, executing sales without a CRM system or managing your financials without a financial system, and yet, or doing supply chain management without, an MRP system or ERP system. And with respect to the development of software, with literally thousands of participants, potentially with tens or hundreds of products to manage, each with tens, hundreds, or thousands of requirements each, and logging bugs and defects and creating tasks for each of those, it's hard to imagine not having a proper set of ALM systems to support that incredibly complex process. And then you begin to layer in, regulatory complexities. If you are developing a solution that will be used by a bank, and a bank, of course, is a regulated company, you know, the provider of that software has to be able to demonstrate that, you know, they have complete traceability that's reliable. You know, otherwise, the bank may not actually be able to purchase that software. And so, without a proper ALM system, and furthermore, without a properly integrated ALM environment, you know, it could actually prove to be a hurdle blocking the sale of your software. So it's critical for the efficient development of software for larger organizations in a fast-moving marketplace where, you know, releases are beginning to be measured in months, not the years that it once was. So that is a short answer to a message.
And to add to that, I've faced this question a number of times. And I think there are flavors of what you just spoke of, Bill, and you know, just the kind of perspective with which organizations implement ALM. I've seen that a number of enterprise IT organizations are very focused on understanding what the real cost of managing an application is, right from its inception, from the concept, all the way till it is retired at the end of its life cycle. What was the overall effort it took to manage the application, to maintain it, and what was the overall benefit to the organization? So what is the real return on investment of their application development activity? And ALM really facilitates getting you those answers. If it is a professional services or an IT consulting type of a company where it's doing projects for its customers, the ability to show customers an overall picture of what the sort of work going on across different phases of the project and across multiple projects is sort of critical to their collaboration with the customer and for their successful completion of projects. And again, ALM facilitates that. And similarly, for an ISV, for a software development organization, for a software engineering company, to be able to provide end-to-end visibility to their management as well as to the product management and engineering organizations, and at the same time, you know, give visibility to their end customers where possible. It's simply unheard of unless you have implemented an ALM solution with whatever tools you may have, but integrated with a technology like SwiftSync. So, depending on the kind of organization you have, you will see that there is value in ALM from multiple sources and for different stakeholders in the organization. So with that, I think we come to the end of the questions. And I think we have nearly out of time. We have a few minutes left over. So just so we reiterate, the slides will be available. There will be a follow-up email that you will see with links to the slides. So you can download them, as well as a recording of the webinar. I'd like to apologize for some of the technical hitches we faced in the beginning of the conference, because of which you might see some problems with the audio. We'll try and fix that and the recording and make that available to you. I'd like to thank Bill for speaking at this webinar, a very interesting session on scaling Agile at the enterprise. And I'd like to thank all of the participants today, all the attendees across India, Middle East, and Australia for taking the time to attend today's webinar. We hope you found it interesting. And if you have any questions or follow-up, please visit our website, digité.com, as well as reach out to us at sales@digité.com. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you.